Hey kids, today's video is all about installing the Switch Pro's SP-9100. We're going to install the switch. We're going to install the SDHQ Power Panel. We're going to install the SDHQ bracket that holds the power panel module on. We're going to wire in these lights, which that is the Baja Designs S8. That's a 30-incher. So sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, poke the like button, slap the subscribe button upside the head, and yeah, let's get to installing this thing. Okay, step one is take out your floor mat, pull up your door sill. I'm always amazed at how much of trucks these days, you just pull them apart. Didn't work that way when I was a kid. That was a long time ago too, by the way. Next is what everybody dreads hearing. You need a 10mm socket. Just go out and buy a dozen of them. And these three guys, there's one, there's two, there's three. All right, those all have to come out. Next comes some more of that weird destruction that you're allowed to do to your taco. And you just start pulling on stuff and it all pops loose. In theory. Oh. Oh, one more. Oh my goodness. Also, if you look right there, that's my 12-volt solution remote starter, worth every penny on a cold morning. Next, it's kind of hard to see, but there's wires. The panel's right here. The wires for those switches are right here. Those have to come off, and then there's these little clips that hold the panel in. Those have to come out, and then that panel should come out the front. So this end plugs into this end on the controller. We have to feed this through the firewall, and the best place to do that, I think you can see where all those wires go right through here. You can see it from this side right there. Alright, so here's the grommet. It's really hard to do hanging out here in camera land. So I put the switches in from right There's the old one. So all the switches are in the new one. So this is where it gets a little tricky. So this is going to go in here, right? Snap back in just the way, same way it came out. A little snapped all the way around this thing. There we go. Okay. I locked that in. So the next thing, so that's back in, right? The next thing is we're going to Loctite these studs in here. Do with one hand, by the way. Switch pros out, make sure it's the right size up. And then those pieces, here's one. Here's the big one that says SDHQ on it. Those go on. So if you try to put these on first, there's some blocks in the back that won't actually let you, and then the nuts go on there. I hope that comes out. Ooh, wrong one. Let's try that. There we go. Done. Now, plug everybody back in. Like, nice how they're color coded. Right, that one's in, and then here's your controller that we already ran through the firewall. That's plugged in, and then it's going to shove everything back up together. You look at it, make sure it says Switch Pros is right side up before I put it in now. Next up is the power module, and like I said, this is the Super Duty HQ, SDHQ makes this, and we're gonna rip her open here. Alright, so I'm gonna take this, gets mounted through these holes here with these little guys. Then Allen, I'm gonna put some Loctite on there. Instructions don't say to, but there's no lock wash or anything on that. That has me a little concerned. It says to torque it to 18 foot-pounds. I think that's a grunt and an eighth. The relay box, a loop of wire. I don't know if that's going to show up in the video, but underneath that guy there, oh man, is going to get clipped. Good lord, he's hard to get to. Oh, and I got wire sticking out. Alright. Alright, that gets clipped. Alright, 2 wire looms. One for this guy. One for this guy. This guy. That guy. A standoff. Oop. Quick word about mounting the module. They say that you have to mount it vertically in order for the water to run out, and if you don't do that, then you kind of void your warranty. So If you're not using the SDHQ mounting plate, make sure that you mount it vertically. Now that we've got all the hardware installed, now it's time to start working on the wiring. And pay attention to the instructions. It's going to tell you to install the black wire to the negative battery terminal before you hook up the red wire. I would follow the instructions on that one. Alright, so here's the wiring harness. And that's going to go in there eventually. But the first thing I'm going to do, pull out this black wire. And that's going to get mounted to the negative terminal. The absolute most nightmarish part of this whole thing is finding an ignition wire to plug that blue ignition trigger into under the hood. All the fuses are hot all the time. There's no place to add a fuse to. SDHQ and the pro guys don't give you any instructions on where to tap that wire into. So here I'm going to show you one that I found behind the kicker panel. So here's where I tapped in. You see this one, and good Lord, it's almost impossible to see. I tapped into the green wire. So there's two green wires. There's a heavy green wire and there's a lighter green wire. I went for the heavier green wire. Maybe you can see it there. I've also heard that you can tap into your diagnostic connection. It's the black wire, but I would double check that. Again, I didn't find anything under the hood that was easily accessible. So all I did was run the light blue wire back along the cable into the truck. All right, so remember we talked about the trigger wires. All right, the white one is for your marker lights, for your headlights. Basically, when you turn your lights on and you want to dim the lights on the control panel, this is what's going to tell the controller that your lights are on. The pink one does the same sort of thing. You rig this to something like your reverse lights. Right, and now your controller knows when you've put the car in reverse. So we're gonna put this on our side marker lights, and on our Tacoma, right, the side marker lights are, here's the outside one. Let me get that back in there. Oh, that's what you get for using LEDs. And that sits back here. So I'm going to open up that shrink tubing here. I'm pretty sure you can't see it. There's two wires down there. There's a purple and a white with a black stripe. The purple is the hot wire. So what we're going to do is this white trigger wire is going to come from the switch, and we're going to tee it into the purple wire. And the tee consists of this part that captures one wire, and a connector that will go through the back of this and will make a contact. So this is going to go on the purple wire. This is going to butt onto the end of the white wire. And we just plug the butt end of that. Into that, and then I'm going to throw some more. I'm going to put this cover back on and and retape that up. Anytime you have a wire that's anywhere near any metal, you should cover it up. We've got the negative, we've got the positive, we've got the trigger switch, we've got the ignition switch. I hate that ignition switch. I've run my light bar lights. They're not quite done yet, but I've got the wiring here. You can see it's still hanging there. Right down through, goes along the frame, And now, so now you've got to decide on which switch you want to plug it into, right? Can you see that? 145, name and number on event. So these are the switches, 1, 2, 3, etc. Well, I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Switches 5, 6, 7, and 8, the ones that are on the left-hand side when you're looking inside the truck, are for switches with a 35 amp max on them. That light bar probably doesn't put out nearly that, but we're going to wire it into that anyways because it's going to be one of the heavier things we run. This is the Baja S8, so it's the driving combo, right? It's got flood, it's got spot, it's got all that stuff. It also has marker lights in it, so there's a set of yellow ambers that are behind the main lights, and I'm going to wire those separately so that I can run basically marker lights at night when I don't have my light bar on. So I've decided to hook the main lights into switch number 5, and on this you're going to notice it's going to say whenever you do a high amperage switch, 5, 6, 7, or 8, you have to run 2 wires together. So it'll be one wire for the positive coming down, and then you're going to take 2 wires coming out of the switch box, hook them together, and then they all get butted together. That's going to be the red wire. And then I have a green wire that's going to run the amber lights, and I'm going to plug that into switch 3. So they're right next to each other. So the one on the right on switch 5 will be for the light bar, and the one on switch 3 will be for my basically marker lights. Okay, so I'm going to hook those together right now. We have the green wire, which, if you remember, right, is for switch 5. That's going to go onto this, right, and they're just going to get butts placed together. And my plan for all the extra wire is to wrap it up in some tape to protect it a little bit, and then there's a ton of room back here, and I'm just going to roll it up and keep pushing wires in here. In fact, all the wires that I don't use, I'm going to tape the ends closed, and I'm just going to curl it up and put a zip tie on it, and I'm going to lay everything back in there. And then my the amber lights that come on the S8 are going to go here, and they're going to go into switch, remember what I said? Switch 3, right? Switch 5 is for the regular, and right next to it is switch 3 is the amber. So that's going to go into wire switch 3, right? So here switch 3 load is orange coming out of number 2. So that would be this one. Oh. So that's going to run my amber lights, and these 2 are going to run my light bar. So let me butt slice all these together. Give it a tug. here are the stickers that come with the light. Right. So I'm going to use the light bar one on switch 5, and there's one in here that says amber somewhere. And a couple blank ones. Alright, we're going to put some of these stickers on, and let me show you what it looks like when they're lit up. Really freaking bright. Alright, so we're going to put stickers on, and I'm going to try to cover them all up even with blanks, just because, I mean, I know they dim when you turn the lights on, although I haven't programmed that yet. Oh, there it goes. And then that's adjustable. See how they went dim? Here, I'm going to turn the lights off. Okay. That was the point of that, white, was it the white trigger wire for the lights? I just wanted to show you how bright they were before you put the stickers on. All right. So this should be nothing. Oh, that went on pretty easy. That's nothing. Although it's kind of hard to get them on like straight, so I'm actually going to stop filming and put them on. All right, so I put the stickers on. Here's what they look like. No, I don't have a welder. And then there's the light bar. The amber light. Alright, so that's it. If you stop right there, you're good. So the SP-9100 is actually programmable. You can program functions with an app on your phone. You can set the dimming if you want to, how bright you want it. You can turn things on to strobe or flash or whatever. It does all kinds of crazy stuff. For right now, all I'm going to do is program how bright that thing is at night. I'd like it really, really dim. I find that its placement is kind of crappy in that this reflects off the glass on the window when you're driving at night, so that's kind of no fun. But otherwise, it's pretty cool. Super easy. I apologize for switching locations so many times, but it keeps snowing on me. From inside the truck, here's my dash. And here are the lights. You can see the amber one's on because it's lit up. So that's what they look like when they're on. And then from inside, there's my S8 driving light. It's pretty bright. Again, that's no beams. That's a big beams.